I believe that we need to reset Africa, and for that to happen, everybody needs to go back into their birthplace. There's an important of people investing and developing their own home countries without framing it as ethnic separation or exclusion. Now, we need a strong, focused message about responsibility of nation building and also regional development in Africa. So, for that to happen, I need to repeat that. For that to happen, everybody need to go back to their birthplace. Everybody in all corners of the earth need to go back to their birthplace to reshape and reform and reset Africa for the future we yearn for. Because it's an insult that we have so many minerals and yet we are the poorest continent on planet Earth. Perhaps one Africa's greatest challenge is in imbalance. It's too many regions are overburdened, too many communities are abandoned, too many young people are forced to leave home, not because they want to, but because opportunities are concentrated elsewhere or is concentrated elsewhere. Hence, they leave for better opportunities. But for us to build, we need to build from where we're from, develop the places where we're from, and better it for our children to have something growing up, to have a future growing up. So we need to build the places we are from. We need to develop our own towns. We need to develop our provinces. We need to develop our countries. We need to strengthen our local communities, create industries where our roots are planted. Not because people should be divided, but because every nation and every community deserves growth, deserves dignity, and modern infrastructure. And for that to happen, everybody who is from Africa needs to go back to their birthplace and build from there. Africa cannot keep developing only in few cities or only a few cities while the rest of the continent is left behind. That cannot happen. The future should mean modern infrastructure, functioning rail and ports, clean energy, advanced agriculture, technology hubs, strong schools and universities, local manufacturing, safe communities, cultural pride alongside modernization. And every African country should aim to become a place where its people can thrive without feeling a force to escape it. So everybody should go back to their birthplace and build it from ground up. They might not be part of the people who will actually get the fruit of their hard labor, but their future generation and the generation of that generation will be the people who actually get fruit from that hard work. We need to rebuild Africa, but for that to happen, everybody needs to go back to their birthplace. And what is happening in South Africa right now is strategically actually encompasses that people need to go back to their birthplace and build from there. So that when we decide to actually lock in Africa and her resources and build factories, research centers, industrial zone, energy grids, Africa-owned businesses, systems that outlive politics, the goal will not be survival. The goal will be the civilization building. And for that to happen, everybody needs to go back to their birthplace. Now, a stronger Africa is not built when one nation rises while the other collapses. That cannot happen. Because we will see a shift, people moving to a certain direction and not the other way around. But people should stay where they're from and develop their places, not only for them and also for future generations. Africa is stronger when South Africa grows, Nigeria grows, Kenya grows, Ghana grows, Congo grows, Zimbabwe grows, Ethiopia grows, and every region that contributes to continental future grows, because instability anywhere eventually affects everybody. But for that to happen, everybody needs to go back to their birthplace. I don't know what you think when you see it happening in South Africa. You might think it's xenophobic. No, it's not xenophobic. Maybe it wasn't introduced in a friendly manner, but It is what I'm saying. Everybody needs to go back to their birthplace, and then we rebuild the Africa, we reset it, we restructure it, and bottleneck our hubs so that whatever we export is a finished product, not our resources, not our raw materials. Everybody who wants gold, you need to come to Africa, build factories in Africa, employ Africans who work on that refinery, and then when products are finished, and then they have to be sold from Africa and then exported to the rest of the world using African people. And so is uranium, and so is copper, and so is every other mineral that is found in Africa, even gas from Mozambique. We need to bottleneck our harbors because they are the funnel at which we export our commodities. But it's not have to be raw material, it has to be finished product. We need to start importing less and export more. We need to build our own things. We need to be able to survive, to self-sustain as a continent. But for that to happen, everybody needs to go back to their birthplace and build from where they're from. And then we can support one another, build a system that functions for all of us, to help all of us grow as one Africa. But everybody needs to go back to their birthplace. Africa cannot be imported. It must be engineered, it must be constructed, it must be protected and maintained by Africa themselves. Now, who can maintain South Africa better than South Africans? Who can maintain Kenya better than Kenyans? Who can maintain Ethiopia better than Ethiopians? Who can maintain Ghana better than Ghanaians? We need everybody at their birthplace because they understand the territories well, they understand the land better, so they are the suitable candidate to actually construct, engineer, protect, maintain those places. And then wealth begin to circulate within the country, even before it's exported to the rest of the world. If they want to kill us because they thrive off of African resources, then they must kill us. But I think it's time now we say enough is enough. We want to engineer, we want to construct, we want to protect, we want to manage Africa by ourselves. And everything that is found within Africa, there's nothing that is going to be exported as raw material. Everything will be processed here within the continent. And everything, the only thing that will go out and exported out of the continent is the finished product. I do not care if it's America, I do not care if it's Asia, I do not care if it's Europe. Whoever wants anything that is in African soil, they have to know that they need to come here and build factories to actually process that and hire indigenous people of Africa, develop the communities where those commodities are found, and then we develop the livelihood of Africans. We are tired of being marginalized as black people. But for that to happen, everybody needs to go back home. And perhaps the reset begins when people stop asking which country can save me. I don't think we should be depending on USA for protection, for security. But we need to start asking, what can I build where I belong? That's why I'm saying for us to reset and restructure and re-engineer and protect and maintain Africa, we need to everybody go back to their birthplace. My name is Sipho Ndlovu. I speak what I like. We need to rebuild and reset and restructure Africa, and we need to funnel all our harbors, not to export raw materials. Everything that goes out of the continent should be finished product, and all those factories should be built in the continent and hire the people of the continent. If they don't have skills or skill set to actually do those type of jobs, they need to be educated to be skilled with the skills necessary to do those type of jobs. We can't have marginalized, poor people, hurt people, all kinds of poverty in the richest continent. We can't have that. But for that to happen, everybody needs to go back to their birthplace. Africans need to understand that for that to happen, everybody needs to go back to their birthplace. And then we start strategizing on how we're going to go about this whole thing. Rebuilding, restructuring, engineering, and sustaining an economy that is going to actually help uplift the communities of Africa. We have in America as a super economy today, as a super economy, but they had to fight the monarch of the United Kingdom first. They didn't have a strategy on how they were going to survive, on how they were going to build that mega country, but they had enough of living under the shadows of the monarch. It's time for us, it's high time for us to say enough is enough. Enough by the Western influence and European influence, or even Asian influence. We are starting afresh and building Africa for Africans. We have everything. We have gas, we have oil, we have mineral resources, we have food. We can sustain ourselves as a continent. And for that to happen, everybody needs to go back to their birthplace, because we need to know what we can get from Zimbabwe, and Zimbabweans needs to be the one who actually help us with that. We need to know what can be found in Namibia, and the Namibians are the ones who need to actually help us with that, because they understand their country better, or their land better. Let me not call them country, their land better. We need to know what we can find from Democratic Republic of Congo or Congo Brazzaville, and people from that region understand the terrain better. And they are the ones who need to actually give us that as a continent. And so the rest of the continent. Every region has something to offer for the greater good of the continent. But the people within that region, the people who understand the land, are the ones who need to be on that land, occupy that land, and actually produce what that land produced the best for the greater good of the continent. But for that to happen, everybody needs to go back to their birthplace. Don't run away from your birthplace to try and find greener pastures everywhere. Who's building those greener pastures for you? Because those greener pastures should belong to the people of that region. However, what you can do is to see how you can outsource some of the things that can actually help you develop the region. That's where you're from. That's how we should be thinking. That's how we should be thinking in a manner that we can actually rebuild, restructure, re-engineer, reconstruct the Africa as one continent. Thank you.